Okay. Let's see.
Are
Okay.
you recording the video or just to?
Yeah, I mean it's mostly the audio though. It's the Zoom. Okay. Okay, for the radio audience, please tell us who you are, where you're from, where you are right now, and what you're doing with your art form.
Okay. This is Peter One. Right now, talking from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm originally from the Ivory-Coast, but I've been here for a minute. I've been in Nashville since the 2014, and right now I'm releasing a new album called "Come Back to Me." I guess that's what Zach is trying to know more about.
That's true. What is your main hope? What is your hope and dream for this record to tell the world?
Or to reach as far as possible, the farthest possible away from where I'm living. Nashville, okay, I'm having a good audience here in Nashville. I'm wishing on, I'm looking forward to meeting, joining people around the world. I wanted to be international. Even if this first album doesn't, um, they should pay attention for the next coming. But I'm hoping for this first album to, delay the road already for me.
Yeah, man, it's really a long journey, and folks maybe rediscovered you in a way with the reissue of that record from 2018. Our garden needs its flowers. It's funny. I have a radio show here in LA on 88.5, and I played Clipo Clipo, you know, P- Peter One, Jessa B, Peter One and Jessa B from Our Garden Needs Its Flowers. I had no idea who you were. I just loved the song. It was in my, radio playlist that was listened to here in LA. And then of course I see this press release and I'm like, wait a second, that's the guy from way back in the day who made this beautiful record. And you never know the journey that folks take. And maybe music is something that disappears from one's life and then reemerges because it's always there, in your heart and in your soul. Um, and I know that you worked, as a nurse for a long time. Um, Tell me a little bit about, growing up in Ivory Coast and how you discovered music as part of your life.
Okay, I've always been a music lover. Was singing from a very age young, I mean, very young age. What I'm talking about, very young age, been singing, and I was listening to music through the radio, mostly through the radio. And some people had, the vinyl players at the time. They would buy
Right.
a record, and play outside for the kids to come dance around and enjoy music.
Right.
So I've been listening to music, and from that early age, I started loving music. I was singing whenever I have friends around. We sing, we dance, and I was mostly interested in singing. When I got to high school, I met friends also who were interested in music. They used to play guitar and I sing. And one of them, particularly, he was a very great guitar player and very good singer also. And he happened to be, this kind of music that I love too. Slow music, natural music. What we later found out that was called folk music, country music. So he was very good at that, playing those classics like Let It Be, Hey Joe, those songs that were classic at the time. And sometimes he will ask me to join him, harmonize the vocal.
Right.
And I wasn't able to do that. I was a good singer, but when it come to harmonize the voices, I couldn't do it.
Right.
I couldn't do it. So it happened some couple times. My friend was frustrated every time. That's how I thought that maybe if I start learning how to play guitar, if I at least play in one instrument, maybe that will help me harmonize the voice. That's how I came to start playing guitar. I was 17, around 17 at that time. I was in high school. So I started playing, and when you have guitar, in the neighborhood, all the young men interested in music, even if they don't play, they are interested. They approach you. So I was I was a friend to a lot of my uh, my friends around, my neighbors. People would come from other areas to come to my house. So we play music, like on weekend like that. We play late, we stay late playing guitar, and when everybody's tired, they leave the guitar in my house and they go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later I went to college, I met my friend Jess Sabi. Jess Sabi, we started playing together, and very soon we started doing radio shows, television shows. Until 1985, we met somebody who was interested in our music, and he decided to put his money down to, take us to the studio. That's how we released our first album, 1985.
The year I was born, that's the beautiful thing about, I think the internet, people can talk trash about how the digital revolution took away the value of music and art, except there's no way that I would have been able to discover your music. And it touched me, something about, the record that you mentioned. It just kind of came into my consciousness here in my little living room in LA. And now we're talking, you in Nashville. It's just an amazing thing how the separation between people and music, the gap can be closed so quickly now. And tell me a little bit about, your parents, and what was it like growing up? The town was Bonua, is that what it's called?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. My parents were farmers. They were farmers. They were not rich, and we used to live a very, very. It was a very modest family, and we love music. My mother used to sing. She was a very good singer, even though she had never tried to be professional. That she
Right.
was just here to, you know, for our pleasure at home. Yes, like maybe I got it from her. And the actually we're living in a suburb of Bonua called Ono.
Uh-huh.
Ono. It was a little town with one particular thing. There were one factory. A French company built a factory there, and they had a large plantation of pineapple. So
Ah,
the factory was making pineapple cans, juice, paste, uh,
right.
jelly, all kind of product from pineapple, and the whole area was living around that factory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Company
that's what
town.
exactly, factory town. So it was so strong that when the factory shut down in 1984, the place, has been dead since then. Dead.
Wow.
Yeah. So I grew up there, and then from there I went to high school in Grand Bassam. Grand Bassam is another town, a little bit larger than Bonua,
Uh-huh.
like a half an hour drive from Abidjan, the capital city. That's where I did high school. That's where I actually started playing guitar. So all that time I was listening to listening to music through the radio, and the television that came later. Television that came in my country around 1964, 1965.
Mm.
But, but as I I watched television the first time in 1969.
Mm.
Yeah, as far as I remember, 1969. That's where I saw my first television screen. So, um, listening to music through radio, television, and also from the vinyl players that some people had around me. We didn't have vinyl player ourselves. We had just a radio at home, and I was listening to music through that. I,
When you started playing guitar and singing, and then you developed into a more professional artist, did you have a certain troubadour style that you were trying to match, like Gigi Vicky from Benin, or Abo Latin, from Cameroon? Was that sort of the style that you wanted to emulate?
exactly. Yeah, I very, very early embraced the music. I love the music from very young age. Even though we had a large variety of music around playing through the radio, through the vinyls, we had all kind of music from around Africa, from Europe, from the US, all that. But Ebola and Jeje Vike, they influenced me very early. So that I when I start playing guitar, I meet with my friend. We play the classic. We play Congolese music. We play some French songs, all that. But when I'm by myself, I go back to what I what I like.
Right.
I learned how JJ Vike was picking his guitar, the Boiletin, how he was doing guitar and harmonizing vocals, all that. Yeah, I developed that by myself
Do you
because
use a certain tuning? Do you have a certain tuning that is your sort of favorite string pattern?
uh yeah, just the normal tuning. We didn't have tuner at that time. We tuned by ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tuned by ear. Long as it's tuned, all the string are tuned, together, that's fine. You don't even worry if you're on the the standard.
That's like when
Long
I
as,
when I tried to
yeah.
play along to like Jimi Hendrix records when I was playing bass when I was in high school. A lot of those Jimi Hendrix songs were tuned in between like E and F, or somewhere like in between two keys. So like I could never play along with it. It was like this in some mystery key.
Yeah.
How did you first hear American music? I know you were inspired by Simon and Garfunkel and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Like how did that reach you?
Yeah, American music was very popular in my country at that time. Yeah, we started hearing American music very early. All these old singers, James Brown, Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Aretha Franklin, and later on the younger generation, everybody, we knew them from a long time. But country music, folk music, this music wasn't popular. It wasn't. I came across Simon and Garfunkel music in around 1974.
Right.
I was in high school already. I heard the boxer through the radio one morning. We're preparing to go down to the class, and the radio was playing that song. It resonated with me right there. Ever
Yeah.
since, I loved the music. Yeah, I love the music.
Isn't it amazing how that song, can really hit you in this, place so far away from that music's origin, right?
Yeah.
Uh, in New York City, where Simon and Garfunkel were recording it. And that song is pretty important to my life. My mom basically named my sister
Mm-hmm.
Lila, partially because they sing la 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 over and over
Yeah.
again in that song. It's like one of her favorite songs. And then when my daughter was born a year ago, the surgeon, the like doctor who was birthing my daughter, had that song playing by chance in the operating room with my
Mm-hmm.
wife. You know, I mean, it's just like amazing how songs continue through time. That song is probably what 40 plus years old now, maybe
Yeah. The
50
music,
years old.
Music is magic. Music is magic. I couldn't understand what he was saying. Even now, I'm not sure if I understand the whole, the whole meaning of the song, but it was touching me. It was
Right.
touching just the music, the melody, how the harmonies are done. That's the magic of music.
So obviously, there was some political turmoil where you were you came to the States, I think what was it, 94 or around then?
Yeah, I left my country, came here in 1995, September.
95. And I love that line that you came into New York City and it had this romantic story in your mind. Obviously New York City is going to be this big, beautiful metropolis. And yes, mid 90s New York was pretty grimy. A lot of crime, a lot of interesting characters. Now, what was that first image of the States that you saw? Like, what was the first feeling that you had when you got here?
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed because
Yeah.
Abidjan is a little bit like Manhattan,
Yeah.
Yeah, but New York is so huge, so noisy, so crowded that I didn't like it. You know, it's a it's a good place, very good place, very good. That's the ideal place for business, the ideal
Right.
place to see things. I used to say, if you're looking for something, you're trying to find something in this world, and you can't find it in New York, you can't find it nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great place, but I didn't like it because I'm a country boy. you know
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I don't like the noise. I don't like the place where there's no green. It's all concrete, metals, all that, cars, noises. No, I don't like it. So I spent just 1 year in New York, just the time for me to find another place to move.
Though
Yeah.
in New York, I bet you could have found it might be the only place in the country here that probably had food from Ivory-Coast. You probably had some folks like you you didn't find it?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
find it. Okay.
Everything, like I said, everything you
Yeah.
want, you will get it in New York. Yeah, yeah. You can't miss. You can't if you talking about food, you're talking about clothing, you're talking about books, you're talking about all kind of things to introduce yourself to different cultures. You can find it in New York. Yeah,
Right.
everything you can find in New York. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the new record, Come Back to Me. That first track, Sherry Vico, you have that refrain. Um, the idea I think you put forth in this record obviously is you're almost calling to yourself in the past or calling to all these different versions of yourself and bringing them finally into the light, because there was a long time where you weren't able to share your music and in your talent and your passion, which must have been painful, but there's just such a release of joy in this record, especially that first track. Tell me a little bit about Sherry Vico to start.
Sure, because it's a love song. It's a love song that has been written a long time ago. I used to sing that back home already, and it's just love song like the usual love song. Vico, Sherry is a sweet baby in French, Sherry, and Vico is just short for Victorine, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, sweet or baby Victorine, come back to me. And I don't know what happened between you and I. And my parents have been saying that you're not gonna come back. I beg you to come back. It's just a love song. Yeah.
Now it was this record was produced, which was really cool by Matt Ross Spang, who has worked with Jason Isbell, John Prine, and you actually got to open for John. Sorry, you got to open for Jason Isbell at the Grand Ole Opry of all places. That must be and it must be a fascinating. That must have been a fascinating evening, and I wish I could have been there. What was that like playing on that stage?
Oh yeah, it was a dream coming true. Yeah. Actually, the opening for Jason was at the Ryman,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, that was in October, and the Opry was last week.
Oh,
Last
wow.
week, yeah, was last week. It was a really, really, um, I would say, very great experience to me, because when I came to Nashville, I didn't know about the Opry. Um, when I passed by that area, I see the mall. To me, the only thing important there was the mall, the Opry Mall. Until one day, I found out from a friend that there's a large venue, a very important venue, music venue there. So I was dreaming. I was looking forward to be on the stage there one day. When the opportunity came, I said, God, I had my I had my prayer. So it was a really, really good experience to me. Very great.
Well, I think, Nashville, as you are probably seeing right now, is going through a lot of uprising, and there's a lot of, tough history that especially people of color have to constantly reckon with in the South. Um, and the scourge of gun violence that the whole country has to deal with is always present. Um, I'm curious what you've thought of some of this uh, energy that's been going through Nashville in the last, few weeks. What has that
Mhm.
been like for you?
To me, the energy is more positive in the sense that I'm not focusing on what is bad, the crimes, the bad things, because I've been in cities like New York, Philadelphia, where this kind of thing happen like 10, 20 times a day, every day.
Yeah.
In Nashville is way quieter.
Yeah.
This this doesn't mean that I'm not feeling concerned about what is going on here, but I put more interest. I would say I keep my interest more, my attention more on the positive side. Nashville has been growing for the past 10 years. It has been growing very, very, very fast. It's a good place for jobs, good place for music, good place for things to see, to visit, and it's been more and more interesting, very, very more and more attractive.
Right.
Nashville is really, like you said, it's a great energy right now, very positive energy.
Well, it's been really cool seeing folks like Allison Russell, who I've been a big fan of for a long time, and Birds of Chicago, who I had on the show, and now her solo work. Be able to become an outspoken voice in both music and on the political stage. She went through obviously sexual assault and the sort of the foster family problem in Canada. So she's lived, almost 4 or 5 lives in one, much like you have. And you got to have her on that final track, Birds Go Die Out of Sight. Um, Tell me a little bit about that track and what was like working with her.
Um, okay, this song is about it's a true story. A friend of mine who was living here and left, he went back home and he didn't make it. It didn't last 3 months. He passed um, because he wasn't well prepared. Not only wasn't prepared, but the timing was not the right time. It wasn't good. Yeah, he went back when things were still, a little bit concerning back there. Not that he was attacked, he was killed by anybody, but
Right.
the whole place wasn't really well, was still back to normal yet. So finding the being the right condition to take care of your health, to take care of yourself, was not easy for somebody who has lived in the area, in the country for more than 20 years, where he can, find, he can find care for his health anytime easily. He can have insurance, take care of his chronic condition easily. It wasn't easy. That's why I say he wasn't prepared, and the place wasn't prepared also for him. And that's what I was telling him here. You have to be well prepared. You have to wait for a better time, better moment to move. It's the whole idea. And now the whole idea about the song is the way African immigrant, most African immigrant, not all of them, most African immigrant, they what they think about, migrating here. They think about coming here or in Europe, in the Western country, just to make money quick, and go back. 90% of the time, they end up finding it's not that easy to make money quick, and go back. So you have to invest yourself. You have to make plans. You have to strategize. You have to organize. You have to act in a way that you spend some time building yourself, building your own, your I would say, building your home here.
Right.
Be strong, a little bit strong, have a little bit strong foundation here before you able to help back home, before you able to plan things, and going back home,
Right.
But they don't do that. You can't come in and soon as you get a job, you start sending money all the time back home, thinking that they're gonna take care of your project down there, and you'll be stable. You're gonna continue having money the way you're having it today. You're gonna get money all the time to send it. It doesn't work like that, because a lot of people end up finding that they made big mistakes.
Right.
So it's all that that is behind that song. And this first song is just I would say one part of what I want to say about the whole situation. I have other songs coming up to address this way the immigrants apprehend their stay in the US. And Allison, she did a great job on that song. A great job. That's her own creativity. Yeah. We just sent her the song, the audio, and she went to the studio and she recorded on her own the way she was feeling it. Was really, came out really great. Really great. And talking about her political engagement, what she said about what is going on here, I totally agree with her. I support the same causes, and I will have my say one day about these things. Yeah.
The irony is, I think, in the United States, that the idea of the American dream is really made by immigrants like you, who come here with completely different stories and backgrounds, and who apply themselves and really work hard and, make this country this beautiful melting pot of cultures and influences and cuisines. And, that there's many things about this country that I'm deeply ashamed of. Right. And then there's the thing I'm most proud of, that I love, is that we are everybody. Any major city, you can eat food from all over the world. You can meet people from everywhere in the world. You hear music. You hear, you have theater and dance, and it's everybody here. And that is, I think, almost like a utopian idea, except that people are still, reacting to their primal, almost animal sense that like I have to be better than the people who are different from me, or people who come from, as Trump said, shithole countries, are going to take my jobs, and they're going to ruin our way of life. And it's like, no, these people are making our way of life better. That's the whole point. The sacrifice that folks make to come all the way here from around the world is just hard to comprehend, and the migrants coming from South America right now, they're bringing their families here, killing themselves to try to make lives better for themselves and their family, and if you think that's evil, I don't know what to say. It's crazy. Do you, like when you hear the conservative, more what do you call it, honestly, openly racist or afraid mentality that a lot of folks, especially in the South, have, how does that feel as someone from you know a different experience?
Oh, no, I know. I would just refer them, remind them about the origin of the American dream. The American dream is that hasn't started in the 60s. It
Mm.
started way in the 16th centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, way back in the 16th centuries. People were fleeing from Europe and to come to the US because they heard that there's a lot of gold in here. There are lands, yeah, they can settle, they can have their own place, their own land to, to have their own farm. And then when they got here, when they got on the East Coast, they hear that there are a lot of gold in the in the Central America. When they get to the center, they say there's a lot of gold in the mountain in in the West. It's not. It's been
Yeah,
a
they keep
long.
chasing it.
Exactly. Yes, the American, and they keep, and when people come to this kind of place where you know they come from different places, they end up sitting together. They built a new a new nation, a new place. Of course, they have to be open to other people coming, following them. You know, you cannot just come in and say that, okay, this is my country. Where are you from? Well, why do you come in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an immigrant yourself. You're a
Everyone
descendant of,
is.
exactly. You see, of course, we need to set up rules. We need to set up rules to to secure the place, to make the place secure, to make the place equal for to everybody, profitable for everybody. But there are boundaries that you should not cross. Saying that this you should not come here. Ban some people. Of course, if there are bad people, people bringing they're bringing the what is the good in here. Of course, we have to stop them. This happen in all community, everywhere. But anything else that I see on the television is just politics, man. Just politics. Politicians are fighting each other, and that's the way. Politics has always been a dirty place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that song you have, On My Own, you speak about that long, long, long trip that you've been on, right? I've come a long, long way. Um, do you feel like your voice and your songwriting now is completely different from when you were a young man, or do you feel like it's just an updated, more evolved version of your younger self?
Oh no, it has evolved. It has evolved because of from experience, from what I've been witnessing, what I've been through, all that, and from the music experience that I had. Also, um, the language, the way I write songs is different from the way I used to write songs. When I got here in Nashville, I went to different meetups.
Mm,
songwriter. But yeah, I learned a lot from them too. Learned a lot from them. So I'm not writing the songs the same way like before.
mm,
See? And this song is a cry from a man that been through domestic violence for
mm.
long. He's saying that it's been you know, it's been a long, long way. Came from a long way, and this wife came with him, and he's not expressing everything. He's not saying everything, but the cry is he will never, he will never love again. Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
take time for him to love. It's gonna take time to trust somebody. Obviously, because he was hurt by the way she treated him after he came all through that, and after accepting her in his life and the way she treated him. So it's the that topic is something that we need to bring up also.
Mm,
Topic of domestic violence toward men.
mm.
Yeah, it's something we don't talk about. We don't talk about much. When you talk about domestic violence, everybody is thinking of men abusing women.
Mm.
We rarely talk about women abusing men. You know, this song is something that is trying to bring up that topic.
What was it like hearing the different musicians work on your record? I know you had Pat Sassone from Wilco and Paul Niehaus from Calexico. There's a really cool um, uh, combination of acoustic instruments that blend with your sound. Um, and I know folks like Ry Cooder and different musicians have always loved sort of combining whether it be Cuban music with American blues music, um, music from Mali and Africa with American soul and funk. It's like they've been talking to each other across the ocean for a long time. um, what was it like kind of combining those different influences together?
Yeah, that was my goal. That was my goal. You can see it in Vico and Staring into the Blues. Yeah. And also Bonane, try to mix a little bit of the African beats, African instrument, to the way people because all these musicians, they're all from Nashville here. They're all from
Right.
Nashville. The Nashville music culture, but that's so I was trying to bring in something new, and they were open to it. They were open to it, but they were not totally, involved in other beats, African music yet. But
Right.
for now, what they did is enough. Is enough. If I have the chance to work with them again, I think we add more things. Blend it a little bit more. Of course, add other instruments from Nashville. But my idea is to mix a little bit more of blend a little bit more of the African influence in the folk and country music.
For folks who didn't know, you had a pretty important place in the African music scene, and to the point where when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, you were a part of that moment. Um, can you tell me a little bit about that and sort of what that meant to you at the time?
Nelson Mandela, I was a history teacher in the Ivory-Coast when we released this album. As I was a young teacher, and we started hearing about Mandela at a time when he has spent many, many years in prison already. Because
Oh, wow.
when he went to prison, we were nothing yet. We were too young. We didn't know anything about it. So when his political party decided to make him the icon, to fight the apartheid system, the apartheid regime, that's when the newspapers the magazine, the news were talking about Nelson Mandela. That's how we heard about him. But we knew from school, from the study, we knew about the apartheid regime. So Nelson Mandela is an icon in the fighting against the apartheid regime.
Right.
So in 1984, in the early 80s, this topic was a really hot topic in Africa, around the whole continent, So it was a good idea to write songs as a musician on this topic. That's what we did. But I never knew that my song would be picked to celebrate his freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, the day he was freed from the prison, we were watching. It was a huge event in all over Africa.
Yeah,
we were watching it through the television. At that time we had only one TV station in the Ivory-Coast. That's the national television, and the national radio also. We were watching the television. That television was getting all his program, all his shows from France.
Right.
From France. So we're watching the television, and at the same time, because the television was making some comment, and the radio was making different comments.
Yeah.
So we had the radio and the television at the same time open, listen to the comment on both sides while we're looking at the images on the television. And at some point, I heard the music playing on the radio, African chants. I never knew that it's gonna come there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was playing on the radio, and that was Radio France Inter. RFI, what we call in the Ivory Coast RFI. That was playing that song. At the same time, Mandela was walking out the prison of Robben Island. And later on, some people told me that they heard the music at the same time. They heard the music on the BBC. Say, oh, okay, so I'm the luckiest musician. That's what happened. That's
beautiful.
What happened. I never knew that would reach to that point.
What was the song called that they were playing?
African Chants.
African Chant.
Yeah, it's on the album, All God Need Is Flowers.
I mean, from being a history teacher, to hearing this song being played probably for tens, if not hundreds of millions of people, it's a pretty amazing trip just in itself. And then, of course, talking about living 3 or 4 lives in one, right? You come to the States, and you have to make your way. And how did you find nursing, and how did that sort of come into your life?
Oh, I came to nursing because I wasn't happy in teaching. Okay, I was a teacher back home. When I left, I didn't want to teach anymore. I wasn't interested in teaching. But when I came here, I decided to, follow my dream. My interest was music, learn about music, set up my own business, buy the equipment and go back home, set up my own business. As time went by, things were getting more and more difficult here, and back home wasn't getting better. So I decided slowly to stay. And I found the easiest job I could do was teaching, because that's what I was used to. I was used to. So I found a position in a high school, starting teaching French. So I was doing that while I was trying to finish my master in the University of Delaware. so I could start, at least the teaching process in college. But on both sides, where I was teaching and my classes in University of Delaware, I was disappointed. I was disappointed by the way the students behave toward the teachers. Yeah, very disappointed. So I decided to quit that dream and find something else that would allow me to, to live, make a good living, something that would allow me to have a job anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
That's how I thought about nursing, because of the shortage in that field.
Yeah. And it still is.
Exactly.
Now, when you sing on this record, you're singing in English and French, and also in was it Guro? Is that the language
yes,
you grew up speaking?
Yes.
When you are writing songs down, or you're starting to put together the verses and the chorus, do you think in one language first and then sort of translate for other people, or do you say like, no, this is going to be in French, this is going to be in English, this is going to be in Goro?
Oh no, I decide from the first step of the song. I know if I want to sing that in French or English or Goro. Yeah. This is set up from the very first step.
Yeah.
Yeah. The topic, it comes, with the melody. Yeah, the topic and the melody. I decide from the first step, I decide to sing either in Guru, in French, or in English. Yeah, it depends. The topic, to me, when the topic is something that need to be heard, need to be sent all over the world, I think the English language is the better vehicle. Something that is addressing an issue in my country, I will sing it either in French or in Guru. Because French is the national, I would say the official language in my country, and French is also spoken in more than 15 countries in Africa and other countries around the world. So according to the goal, to my goal for that message, I decide which language to sing with, and of course the melody also. Some melody will fit better in Guru than in French or in English. The melodies come to me from different ways. I don't know where they come from, but they just come to me, and I build from there.
Do you think that songs come from some higher spirit, some otherworldly supernatural power that only some people can hear? Because in a way, if everyone was hearing songs all the time, we'd all probably be going crazy. It's only a few of us that can, have the luck or the curse to be able to hear these songs from, the air. And I think that for me, as a songwriter, I don't have a choice in the matter, right? I have to hear it, and I have to get it out, or I'm not sort of really living my life. It's like I'm going to be dying inside. Everything has to stop. Sometimes, I'm sure when you get a song going, it's tough when you're like driving or something. Luckily you can sing it into your phone or something. But when a song comes to you, what do you do first? Do you write down words? Do you sing it to yourself as a melody?
Yeah, when the song comes, I think you hear it in your mind. You hear it in your like a voice first, and try to repeat it a couple of times, so not to forget. If I have my phone nearby, I record what I'm singing, when I'm vocalizing, so I won't forget it. I put it down, and then I start working on it later. And I think it comes from two different sources. I don't know if I'm right or not, but to me, that's where it comes from. The first source is your memory from what you hear around, what
Mm.
your memory has kept inside, and the second is from what some philosophy called the natural archives. you know
Yeah.
yeah, there's some kind of archives in the air where everything is being kept like the memory of the computer.
Right.
Yeah, something in the air that is keeping everything that has been created vocally or sound wise or all that everything, and it's probably from there that you get this sometime this thing coming to your ears, to your mind, and I think that's what it is. You don't know, you don't know. But the thing is, when it comes to you, if you don't put it down or you don't repeat it several times so you won't forget it, if you put it aside, you will never retrieve it. Never.
Yeah, it's gone. Once it's
It's
gone, it's
gone,
gone.
gone forever. Yeah.
Where did Le Petit come from?
Oh, La Petite is another song. It's a love song. A love song. Um, I was I had a friend who was always fighting with his girlfriend. Always.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. They were always fighting, and they were living together, right? And every time they fight, she will pack up and go back to her parents.
Uh-huh.
And the next day, he's gonna go beg her to come back. When she comes back, a couple of days later, they will fight again. So it was happening all the time, and he will come to me and tell me, um, she's gone. What was her name again? This girl. Okay, she's gone. Please come help me. We ask her. We ask her to come back. So it's happened a couple of times. I end up telling him, oh, listen, I'm tired of doing this for you because you got to take care of your business yourself. So
Yeah.
that's what inspired me this song, because he was saying he don't know why he loves this woman. He's going through too much with her, but he just can't help. He can't help it. He has to go back. He loves her. You know, that's that what inspired me. That song is saying, "You're beautiful, my friend. There, you are very truthful, but that's not enough. I still don't understand why I love you."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think, the complications of long-term relationships are something that as we obviously get older, we tend to write about more. Obviously, you cover the painful, divorce and thing that, something that it's like you don't want really people to know about, but it is such a part of your story at some point that you have to tell your side of it and explore that in your writing. Was that painful to write about, or was it something that you had to do to process?
Yeah, of course. When you hear these kind of stories, it reminds you some of the things that you've been through yourself. Not always the same way, but in some part of it. So when you go back and reflect on what you've been through, you find the right words.
Mm.
You find the right word, the right melody to sing about it. In other terms, you cannot write a meaningful song um, without having the experience of that, of the story. At least you witnessed and you have an opinion about it, or you went through it
Mm.
yourself. Yeah. So I like to write about true stories. True stories. Yeah.
which song on the record you think most dives into that sort of that pain and that feeling?
Uh, yeah, on my own, birds go die out of sight. Um, staring into the blues
Mm,
was, yeah, I didn't write that song. A friend of mine wrote that song, but he had exactly the same story, you know, the same story as the one I'm talking about in Birds Go Die Out of Sight. You know.
right.
Mhm.
What was it like teaming up again with your old collaborator Jess Sabi for Bona Ani? I mean, it's an amazing partnership that's lasted this long, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. We've been always in touch. We haven't cut off everything. We've been in touch, and when the album, the I've Got It Needed Fire was reissued in 2018, we toured a lot. We did a lot of large stages in across the U.S. So when I got this deal, I thought that would be a good idea at least to put one song, even though we haven't been writing songs together for a long time. It would be a good idea to bring up one of the old songs we used to sing.
Mm,
Yeah, that would be another way to show the public what we used to do and what we can still do together. You know, that's why I called him and we did this song that we used to play. Yeah.
is he
This
still
way.
in Ivory Coast?
No, he's here. He's in San Francisco.
Oh, cool.
He's been in San Francisco for years now, a long time.
Have you gone back to visit certain parts of Africa, or is it too difficult to get back over there?
I went back this past November and past May.
Mm.
I went back twice in 2022 to the Ivory-Coast. I didn't get enough time to go visit other countries, but hopefully I'll have that time later.
How is the state of things there right now?
Things are changing slowly, slowly. Of course, there's no war anymore. Um, but the political ambience is worrisome, you know,
Yeah.
it's worrisome. People are complaining. Even when you walk in the streets, you talk to people, the country is really, really deeply divided. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah, deeply
Yeah.
divided. Family here in the United States, I don't think you really hear you don't feel it here if you don't watch the television. If you,
Mm.
you don't follow the news, you will hear that through the news, the TV, the radio. But in the street, you don't. In Abidjan, you feel it in the street.
Mm.
Yeah, you feel it
Well,
in the
it's
street.
it's life or death sometimes in these countries, you know.
Yeah, you
I
feel it
mean,
in the
the
street.
you know,
You talk to people in the street, they will, you know, they will say, but of course, they're not gonna go to the, to the television or the radio station to say, but because the media are very, very, very tightly controlled.
mm,
So yeah, so they cannot express themselves through these channels. But in the street, you feel it. You feel it, you hear it, and it's really sad. That's one of the reasons why I wrote that song, Kavudo.
mm.
Yeah, yeah, Kavudo is my contribution to bringing people back together, to reconcile, and stay one people, stay together. Yeah.
If you could throw a big festival or a gathering, maybe back in Ivory Coast, and you could bring any artists that you have admired over the years, onto the stage with you to play, who would you play with?
From the US or from Africa?
From anywhere.
Oh, I would think of I would think of more American musicians. Yeah, if I can have Simon and Garfunkel, ooh la la. If I can have a Bruce Springsteen, not
Oh,
that because his music is so popular, but he's a master of the stage.
yeah.
He's the master of the stage. I watched his show when he came to the Ivory-Coast through they had a world tour. I think it was 1987 or 1988, something like that. And it was like 10, 10 different musicians. Bruce Springsteen from the US. We had Bruce Springsteen. We had Tracy Chapman. You know,
Oh, wow.
we had Peter Gabriel.
Mm.
We had Sting. I think Sting is from England, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's American. Yeah, yeah. We had Sting. We had I don't remember the other one, but these are the famous ones. Um, and we had also Johnny Clegg from South Africa. He was really popular at that time, really popular in the West Africa, you know,
Mm.
for sure. And that's where I saw Bruce Springsteen for the first time on stage. Not many people, very few people knew him in the Ivory Coast.
Mm.
But when he got on the stage, he killed the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he broke everything. After him, everything was quiet. It was like that was the end of the show. Yeah. So I would bring him. I would bring people like Sting. You know, people of the masters of the stage. You know,
Well,
in
it's
Africa.
amazing is that most people, you see bands or artists that, have been playing since the 70s, 80s, and they're getting older, they're sitting down on a stool. Bruce Springsteen is going every night like
Mhm.
he's 25 years old. He's
Yeah.
sliding across the stage, he's jumping up on the piano, you know, uh, you know, whatever his workout, routine is at the gym. And I think we all need to be practicing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the younger generation they have a lot of energy, a lot of creativity too. But we've seen at my age, I've seen the older ones, I see the younger ones. I'm still impressed by the old ones. Not that I don't like the young one. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Uh, I've seen more. You know,
Yeah.
I've seen more. So I'm kind of nostalgic. Yeah.
Well, I'm really impressed that you've kept the fire alive and that folks are finally recognizing your artistry, and this record can really hopefully travel throughout the world. And if you're ever in LA, we'd love to come see you live, and maybe I'll see you at one of these festivals. I know you're playing up in Monterey in October. That looks like a really cool festival.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be glad to meet you there. Thank you.
Well, keep up the good work, man. We'll catch each other some of these days.
Thank you. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Thank you for
All right,
having
man.
me.
Yeah, yeah. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
to everybody. Thank you to your audience.
All right.
See you soon.
See you soon.